We know that sequel albums don't always hit, but was this one of the ones that actually delivered? What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Mafia. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't. But today, I'm going to hit y'all with my thoughts on this new one from Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist entitled Alfredo 2. So the month of July has been really solid as far as releases have been concerned, especially if you like lyrical street rap, or you could use the phrase coke rap, but you have had anticipated drops from artists like Clips, Benny the Butcher, Raekwon the Chef, Boldy James, and now Gangsta Gibbs and producer extraordinaire The Alchemist have given us a sequel to a very important 2020 project. Back during the lockdown days of 2020, Freddie and The Alchemist had dropped their critically acclaimed Alfredo, a well-respected project that has been regarded as one of the better releases of the first half of the 2020s. And now 5 years later, they decided to spin back the block and lock in for part 2. Now this has 14 songs lasting approximately 48 minutes, but with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track-by-track breakdown. The opener, 1995, was the initial single. Now, it's set to a two-part instrumental. The first has some dreamy, sparkling soul production, and the second has more of the electric guitar backdrop. So even though it's still a low-key instrumental, it's also dynamic, and I would say it was a respectable follow-up to 1985. So yeah, overall, lush soundscape, dope rapping, no complaints here. Track 2, Mar-a-Lago, has more of a spacious, ethereal feel. It's a slower, plodding boom bap beat that sounds a lot better in the car than when I first heard it on headphones. And on here, Gibbs states, walked away from multiple crashes, but it ain't wrecked my status. So overall, I like the eerie but hypnotic flavor to this track. But the following, Lemon Pepper Steppers, easily has the most insane beat on the project. The production is plush, otherworldly, and I just love the slick melodic guitar. I can't emphasize how much I dig the guitar here and the fire drums. And also, Freddie's aggressive double time flow is probably Freddie's best vocal performance on this project. And there's also more of that oomph to the instrumentals more than some other tracks, and I was looking for a little bit more of that oomph on this project overall. But yeah, Lemon Pepper Steppers was one of those ones, and both The Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs were extremely in their respective bags, but Uncle Al, he left Earth here on the beat. This follows up with Ensalada featuring Anderson .Paak, who does kill it on the hook with an emotionally sung performance, and you can really feel the pain in his vocals. Now, production-wise, you have some groovy guitar layers and melancholy keys. It's the kind of beat and vibe where you could envision yourself driving up and down the Cali coast at sunset. Those were just the vibes I was getting. But Freddie was getting a little more introspective on his track, somewhat channeling his inner Tupac, talking about themes like betrayal and even the inauthenticity of some rappers. Freddie said, I feel like dudes never really met a plug, all imaginary Pablos, Diary, Confessions of a Killer, I see dead faces with my eyes closed. Immediately after is another highlight, Empanadas. Now this has a low-key but icy beat, blending a vocal sample with this murky late night loop. It does feel intrinsically Alchemist, but also with a splash or two of, let's say, DJ Mugg. On here, Freddie is taking a shot at both Jim Jones and Benny the Butcher, and that's the thing with a lot of Freddie projects. Someone's usually catching a stray or a direct shot. I really wasn't, impressed too much with the disses, but I did like the flow and the production here. Right after is Skinny Suge 2, and it's almost on the level of its predecessor for me, but I still like the original Skinny Suge beat just a bit more. There is a nice hypnotic 80s synth quality going on here that was cool, and it complemented more of his hard delivery. You have a brief change in pace with the next track, Feelings with Larry June. Now, everything about this track screams luxury rap. You have pleasant pianos, sensual soul chops. The hook from Gibbs is pretty catchy. There's a nice bouncy pimp-like flair to the whole track. Right after is the standout, I Still Love Her, where Gibbs is almost taking a page from Common's I Used to Love Her playbook, and that it's a hip-hop love letter with more traditional, I'd say, Chi-Town 90s flair. There's a heavier drum presence and attractive twinkling keys. There's also more introspection on this one, as Gibbs says, F a rap this a love letter. So he still professes, to love hip hop despite the shady industry folks and all the whack rappers who were like feds to him. Freddie said, "Oh, rapping dudes working undercover, rest in peace to Mac. I ain't lacking, I put that on my brother." But then he goes on to take some shots at the hip hop cops. I mean, when was the last time y'all heard hip hop cops being mentioned? Well, Freddie's bringing it back. And on this track, he's also acknowledging that he may have personally gone a little too far with some of his disrespect in the past. Then track 9, Shang Reli, has some really dope atmospheric production, borrowing from that Memphis 3-6 Mafia aesthetic to an extent. You have a soothing vocal harmony that slaps, and it's just one of the wavier tracks where Gibbs is in a good pocket, just pretty much gliding effortlessly. Next one, Gas Station Sushi, has this unorthodox, moodier beat from Alchemist with more West Coast sounding synth. It almost sounds like a beat that's geared for Currency, but ironically, Spitta is the recipient of a diss towards the end of this track. I guess for not promoting the Fetty joint project enough, I don't really know. So I obviously can't tell Freddie Gibbs how he should feel in this situation, but I think if there's one rapper that probably wouldn't need to be dissed, it would be Currency, but that's just my thoughts. Right after, though, is the highlight, Lavish Habit. So you have this guitar lick that is so groovy. The production, it kind of feels like a soundtrack to someone chilling by the dock of the bay, just getting wasted. There is something to the feel of this track that also takes me back to Redman's Green Island. I'm not saying sonically it's the same, but there is something about those twangy guitars that puts me in that frame of mind. Freddie is going in on more folks here, like DJ Academics. So yeah, the production on Lavish Habits, it was fire. What comes next is another standout with J.I.D. Gold Feet. Now, this is a track where the Alchemist was completely in his bag. Again, you have these colorful, gushing piano. The keys are so gorgeous, and J.I.D. steals the show with his verse, even though Freddie's flow was pretty much on point. Second to last track, Claude, it has Gibbs venting over a more of a drumless backdrop. Now, the pianos here are moodier and more melancholic, but they're still rich, and it's a fly beat overall, even though it's still dreary. Freddie has the lines, "These hoes will trick you into tricking. Let's take it back to pimping." He also says, "Life's a blood sport. You gotta be Claude." Then this project closes out with 1,000 Mountains. So you have this sorrowful beat that gives the track this anxious but haunting feel. I do like the faraway flutes, and the instrumental just fits the title of this track to a T. He has the bars, "I feel like the only dude rapping as cold as me, Andre 3000. Bitch, I raised a generation. Kick game on 1,000 albums. I should go get me a flute and disappear into the mountains." So very strong closer for this project, and it puts you in a zen frame of mind somewhat, but it's contrasted with Freddie's bold and sexually explicit bars. So overall, I'm going to give this project a rating of 4 mics to a solid 4. From a production standpoint, this is one of the best produced laid-back albums I've heard in a while. And let me stress, one of the best produced laid-back album. And even though it's at such a low to mid-tempo the whole way through, the Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs somehow, some way, still managed to command your attention. And I feel that was made possible not only due to Freddie's aggressive delivery and vocal charisma, but also when you combine it with some of the colorful textured beats that Alchemist provided that were almost spellbinding. simply instrumentals you could get lost to. Now, I personally am still of the mindset that one or two bangers would have completely sealed the deal and made the production near perfect. Although I still do like the aesthetic that they went with here. Now, I do have to keep it all the way 100. It did take me several listens in order for the production to fully click for me, because I initially thought that some of the instrumentals lacked some of the oomph found on the predecessor, and some of them bordered on being just a bit sleepy. And while I still maintain it's a laid-back album, The Alchemist still did hit it out the park in a subtle, slow burn kind of way. So yeah, it is an impressive enough sequel, or you could say a worthy follow-up to the original. Now, I don't think it's nearly as good as the 2020 project, because again, I preferred the inclusion of a couple of darker, more aggressive tracks that we got on that album. Now, lyrically, Gibbs had some lines here and there, and the flow was on point, but content-wise, he did seem a bit all over the place at times, contradicting himself a bit, wanting beef, but then again, not really wanting it. And that's fine. That just may be how he gets down, but I did want to point that out. At the end of the day, I can see why this project is getting some of the love that it's getting, and I can see why hardcore fans of this duo will mostly love Alfredo too. My favorite tracks include Lemon Pepper Steppers, Ensalada, and Pinatas. I Still Love Her, Lavish Habits, Gold Feet, Claude, and 8,000 Mountains. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Marvin. I'm signing out, but as always, it's peace and blessings. Freddie Gibbs, The Alchemist, Alfredo 2.